Continue previous story, Nifin went to cook the raccoon that had been prepared for their meal in the garden of the Valley of Green Cloud. Nifin was very excited about cooking the raccoon. He was accompanied by Day and said that since Shobai was not there, he would cook the dish. Day said that Nifin's cooking skills were the best in the world. Nifin was blushing because of Day's praise, and he was happy that Day had said that. With a smile, Day also replied that she was only telling the truth. Not long after, Guzi and the others met Nifin in the kitchen. Guzi asked if there was anything they could do for Master Nifin, while Zayu looked like a zombie. Nifin replied that they did not need to do anything because he himself would prepare delicious food for them. Nifin said he would use leg parts and combine them with tofu to bring out the original flavor. For the pearls, he would use fish eggs, but he did not have any at the moment. He would just use fish instead. Guzi was surprised. She immediately ordered to bring Nifin a high-level red snapper right now. Qin and Ziyu were already weak upon hearing this. Ziyu was getting limp. He looked like Grandpa, saying that it was a very expensive fish, but Guzi did not care. With a big smile, practically happy, she said that to make Master Nifin happy was the most important thing right now. Ziyu burst into tears because his sister did not have any mercy. Guzi, with enthusiasm, said that being Master Nifin's food was a blessing for them. To the fish and raccoons, their next life would definitely be full of blessings. Zayu still could not accept how absurd his sister's words were, so he took his beloved fish reluctantly and even burst into tears. He mumbled in his tears that he was unable to take care of it and apologized for letting the fish become Master Nifin's food. Looking at Nifin, Zayu inwardly told the fish not to worry. Their relationship was stronger than gold. He promised not to eat the fish later after it was cooked. After some time, Nifin finally finished cooking. He opened the lid of the cauldron and blew out the smoke. Day, who was very enthusiastic, asked if they could eat it now. Apparently, Nifin was still not done cooking completely. He told Day that it was still in the first stage. He needed to make the meat taste like tofu, so he had to do some additional steps. He also had to cook it in soup water for 3 times so that the tofu would have a meaty texture. Nifin then noticed that the cooking flame was getting smaller. He asked for help from them to turn it up. Of course, Buzi, Shaiyu, and Qin all blasted out their skills. Nifin, who recognized their abilities while cooking, immediately praised them as being extraordinary. The immortals were indeed very great. They could fly and spit out flames. He was really envious. But in their hearts they were crying because they were even more envious of Nifin. Nifin finally finished cooking after some time. He opened the lid of the cauldron and out of it emitted a marvelous light. Nifin said the name of the dish was the finest pearl. Just the smell of the food made them crazy. Nifin, who saw the dish, was really happy. He was proud of himself. They were now sitting on the floor together with the dishes that Nifin had cooked, but Zayu sat at the very back. Guzi tried to ask if Zayu did not join the meal. Zayu pretentiously said that from now on he would become a vegetarian. Despite saying that Zayu was still drooling for food, Guzi told Zayu to wipe away his drool. Zayu realized that he even wanted to taste the food so badly, he was upset at himself. He struggled in his heart that he was so horrible. How could a dish made from his favorite animal smell that good? By trying his best not to be tempted by the food, Zayu continued that he was named Zayu. Even if he starved to death, he would never eat his favorite animal. But even though Zayu said that when it came time to dig into the food, he was already in between his sister and Qin, grabbing his food. Zayu himself was surprised that his body was moving on its own. Guzi, who saw her brother's antics, only smiled slightly. Guzi looked at the bowl of meat in his hand and then took a sip of the soup. Guzi immediately shouted that the food was very good. Even Qin and Shaiyu almost shouted at the same time. Seeing their behavior, Nifin smiled. Did they really like his cooking that much? He was very pleased if they all liked it. Day smilingly said that everyone liked Master Nifin's cooking. She also thought that Master Nifin's cooking was very good. As Nifin watched the way everyone ate the dishes, he said that he knew they all loved his cooking, but wasn't it too much? They really seemed to have lost control and were eating the dishes without even looking and realizing anything. Nifin and Day were stunned. Nifin wondered if the food was too good for them to have completely lost control. In their subconscious, they could be seen lying down and enjoying the beautiful scene of nature. It turned out that even Zayu seemed to really enjoy the food even with tears in his eyes, But he did not waste any of the food. He hastily ate the food whole, although he knew it was the food that came from his beloved pet. He just could not resist. Covered in smiles and tears, Zayu said that it was very satisfying. The raccoon apparently was not cooked yet. The raccoon and the other two animals looked in through the window in tears. They finally learned who Zayu really was. Nifin told them that the dish he had previously made was a famous imperial dish, although the dish was very rare. Even the emperor could only eat it once every few years. Jade sturgeon tendon required more than 40 pounds of sturgeon, with the best cooking method, then pressing the sturgeon meat to make it tender, chewy, and inelastic. Once it was done, the sturgeon tendon would turn out to be like jade. This delicious golden crab soup would stimulate the taste buds. After that explanation, Nifin said to himself, but famous foods from his hometown were made from simple ingredients and got such cool names. Nifin told them all that if something like jade sturgeon tendon, phoenix's brain, Cancun goose barbecue, or heavenly fish, just the name alone was interesting. With some good cooking methods, they tasted good. Nifin was still muttering to himself, surely the immortals use all the precious ingredients, but he was able to make such a dish from simple ingredients. At that moment, the people who heard Nifin's story misunderstood. They seemed to not believe what Nifin had just said about the ingredients. They concluded that Nifin had just admitted that he used to live in the immortal realm. Zayu misunderstood even more. He concluded that the Peaches Feast on the journey to the west was Master Nifin's personal experience. Now everything made sense. Regrettably, even everyone agreed with Zayu's opinion about it. They then discussed the matter. Xiaoyu said that Master Nifin had always been humble, but why would he admit it now? Huzi also felt strange about it. Qin confidently says that her connection with Master Nifin was the strongest and she understood his intentions. Xiaoyu, Huzi, and Ziyu were surprised. Could it be? The three of them looked at Qin together. Qin laughed happily to confirm it. Master Nifin made it clear, because if they followed Master Nifin and did their best, perhaps they would be able to eat the precious dishes made by Master Nifin. Of course, they all agreed with that. Nifin, who saw their antics, did not understand and asked what they were talking about. They replied that they were saying that anyone who followed Master Nifin would be able to eat good food. Nifin laughed shyly, saying that they all praised him too much. After the feast, everyone had now returned. So did Dai and Nifin. At Nifin and Dai's lodge, Dai was seen leaving quietly without Nifin's notice. Dai went somewhere to ensure that there would be no trouble that would cause Master Nifin failure, whatever it was that he wanted. Moving in the northern region of the immortal realm, the Liu family. Someone who was grabbing a bite to eat asked if the young master's whereabouts were still undiscovered. A person who was a follower of the Liu family replied that there was no news at all regarding the young master, who turned out to be the Liu family master. Master Liu told his fellow follower that even they all could not keep an eye on his weak son. The knight Liu's name was Liu Xin. He was also referred to as Knight Xin. Knight Xin seemed to be annoyed and swore at the man. The person fearfully said that although he did not find the whereabouts of young Master Liu, he had finished investigating the matter requested by Knight Xin. The person said that the woman who cultivated at such a fast rate was from the Golden Lotus sect. She was a disciple of the Golden Lotus sect in the Qianlong Immortal Dynasty and started from a low-level spiritual root. In less than 3 months, she had reached the base realm and even finished off a cultivator at the Savor realm. Her movements were both agile and aggressive. As a result, under that woman's blessing, the Golden Lotus sect grew by leaps and bounds. The building that was about to collapse was now a luxurious building. The one they were talking about right now was Nanan. Knight Xin said that if the northern realm was under the control of the Liu family, without his permission, no one should grow. If they did, they would become his food. With a fierce look on his face, Knight Xin requested for that person to investigate the secret behind that woman's growth. The person seemed to have done an in-depth investigation. He mentioned that when the woman or Nanan entered the Golden Lotus, an unknown man came and gave her a copy of a book. Some said that it was a heavenly treasure. Hearing that, Knight Xin then turned around and said that the man should have known what to do. He did not need to give any more orders. The man confirmed it, and he had sent some people there. If she would discreetly follow the people he had sent, he would make her into Knight Xin's concubine. If she did not, then blood would be spilled. Knight Sin flatly praised the man, and he seemed to have nothing to worry about. However, right now what he was worried about was his son, who had no idea what he was getting himself into. He hoped that his son would not offend people and cause trouble or even hurt himself. Suddenly someone came to report in a hurry that King Lu of the Qianlong dynasty had arrived. It seemed like the young master had offended him and he had come here to cause trouble. Patriarch Sin still casually said that the Liu family had been oppressed by people for a long time. The Liu family would never be afraid of people who wanted to stir up trouble. Patriarch Sin asks not to be afraid. It was only from the Qianlong dynasty. You should send an elder to fight him. But suddenly someone came to report that the Lin Immortal Palace had arrived. Knight Sin was still relaxed. The two of them coming at the same time, that would be troublesome. Knight Sin ordered to send more elders to deal with it. But once again there was someone who reported that there was also Master Chanking from the Valley of Green Clouds had come to visit. Hearing that the leader of the Valley of Green Clouds had come as well made Knight Sin instantly mentally hit. He had no idea what his son had done to offend those people. Since he had no other choice, Knight Sin would finally meet them himself. He said inwardly that he just wanted them all to understand. Even if the Liu family made a mistake, they had to accept, no matter how much they hated it. One of the people who reported warned that Knight Sin should be careful because the people coming had teamed up. It seemed like it would be difficult to deal with. With a mysterious look, Knight Sin said that if he could not defeat them, then all he needed to do was to ask for forgiveness, right? He ended with a faint smile on his lips, but with a sharp gaze. Knight Sin then walked out immediately. He muttered to himself that if they did not respect him, then they should respect the Liu family ancestors. After all, the Liu family had successfully made someone invincible. Moving above the air of the Liu family residence, there were Master Chanking, King Liu, and also the bald elder from the Lin Immortal Palace. They were stopped by two people from the Liu family. The master told the two people in the way that today was the last day of the Liu family's existence in the immortal world. With a cruel face, Master Chanking warned them if they did not want to be finished off, then they should leave. The two people did not buy Master Chanking's arrogance. They said that the Liu family had successfully made someone invincible. If they made him angry, then Master Chanking would be burned to ashes. But suddenly Knight Sin had arrived and asked his people to behave. They were happy that their leader had finally arrived. Knight Sin then scolded them not to be rude, whether it was directed at his subordinates or at Master Chanking and the others. Master Chanking stared at Knight Sin, saying to himself, the Liu family controlled the northern region and were truly powerful. He did not want to offend them. But right now what he was doing was for the sake of the expert. Master Chanking immediately shouted that he had come to eliminate the Liu family under orders from the expert. Preparing to attack, Master Chanking asked if Knight Sin had any last words to say. As Master Chanking's sword was about to touch Knight Sin suddenly cried out for forgiveness. He made Master Chanking stop attacking. Master Chanking really did not understand. He was stunned by Knight Sin's demeanor. Knight Sin strangely said that he did not know how his useless son had offended them. He had come to ask for forgiveness and mercy, and also not to take out the Liu family. Master Chanking, who saw Knight Sin acting out, was embarrassed. He said that according to his beliefs, if the Liu family was able to settle the matter with words, then there was no need to use force. Knight Sin was getting even weirder. Instead, he massaged Master Chanking and persuaded him to reconcile. Knight Sin yelled at his people to apologize. Of course, they immediately apologized. Knight Sin said that if he ever found his useless son, he would tie him up and throw him in front of the door of the Valley of Green Clouds to apologize. Master Chanking was puzzled, saying that he had missed something important, that his son was gone. With a smile, Master Chanking said that he and his two comrades had sent him to the afterlife. The bald elder chimed in that he was the one who had done it. Hearing about his son being sent to the afterlife infuriated Knight Sin. He said how dare they hurt his son. He would finish them all and make sure to send them to the afterlife together. Master Chanking replied that the Liu family had offended the expert and it could not be tolerated anymore. He would make a move for the sake of the expert. Master Chanking prepared to fight Knight Sin. Knight Sin rushed to attack and clashed against Master Chanking's defenses. King Liu and the bald elder also helped by providing energy to Master Chanking. Knight Sin underestimated the three of them. Do not expect to be able to defeat him. Just a few seconds after his words were finished, A shocking attack hit Knight Sin's cheek that sent him to the ground. The people from the Liu family had no idea how Patriarch Sin could be so weak. The other person said that all he had done was seek the pleasures of the world with women, never even cultivating. Knight Sin got up and said that the three of them were really strong. If so, he would not fight them. Knight Sin shouted that he was not going to kill everyone. He would finish off the bald elder who had killed his son. The rest would be let go. But Master Changking said he would not do it. Master Changking immediately attacked Knight Sin once again. Again and again. Even though Knight Sin did not want to fight, he was still beaten. Knight Sin didn't understand why they were being so cruel. Master Changking and his two companions approached and prepared. King Lu said that Knight Sin did not understand anything. Knight Sin did not know what kind of person young Master Liu had offended. Knight Sin certainly had no idea what kind of person his son had alluded to. Master Changking immediately swung his sword to slash at Knight Sin, but suddenly there was an attack from the sky that stopped Master Changking's attack. King Lu and the bald elder were really surprised. They had no idea what was going on and where the attack came from. Suddenly, Master Changking's eyes widened at the sight of something before them. It was a sword floating in front of Knight Sin. Master Changking realized it was a heavenly attack. Knight Sin said since they did wanted to finish off the Liu family, then he would show them the real power of the Liu family. Knight Sin continued, they did not seem to remember that the Almighty protected the Liu family. The expert was no match for him. Master Changking and the others were silent, no words to say. They realized that the sword was the Liu family inheritance, the heaven-splitting sword. Knight Sin that today he would make them all learn that the Liu family had been ruling the north side realm all by themselves. The bald elder sighed, underestimating him. He took out his heavenly zither and said when it came to the heavenly weapons, who wouldn't have it? He also had one such. Master Changking did not want to be left behind. He took out his heavenly flag to fight. Meanwhile, on the other said, King Lu was crying since he was the only one who did not have any heavenly weapons. Knowing King Lu had no heavenly weapons, Master Changking and the bald elder told him to stay away. It was too dangerous to be there. King Lu cried even more. He said inwardly that they could be prideful because they had heavenly weapons, but just don't attack him mentally. Seeing Master Changking's heavenly flag, Knight Sin shouted how dared Master Changking using the heavenly flag, didn't it use to seal the demons? Master Changking laughed lightly. He said that used to be, but not anymore. Since Knight Sin could no longer hold his emotion, he attacked them first by drawing his heavenly sword on both of them. Master Changking avoided the heavenly sword and darted towards to Knight Sin. Realizing that Master Changking approached him, Knight Sin recalled his sword to deflect Master Changking's sword. The bald elder also approached to attack Knight Sin. It was now a 2-on-1 battle. The battle in the air became even more fierce. The ordinary eyes could not even follow their movements and attack directions. The people of the Liu family definitely was not comparable to those the strong people. They said that it was a top-level battle of the top immortal cultivators. They were worried about Knight Sin if he could defeat the bald elder and Master Changking, even if he had been using the heavenly sword. The other person responded the heavenly sword was one of the most powerful heavenly weapons. This would cause some damage to Knight Sin's cultivation, but since it was Knight Sin who used it, then it should have had such force to destroy the earth and heaven. Otherwise, the Liu family would finish off. The others were also concerned about Knight Sin and wanted to help, but one of them stopped him as it was a top-level battle between the top immortal cultivators. How could they interfere? It was better for them to carry out the mission from Knight Sin to bring back the thing to the Liu family. The most hidden secrets were the most important ones. However, when they were about to leave, something flew down from above and hit them and threw down the sacks they were carrying. Suddenly, the sack moved and a little girl who turned out to be Nanan came out of it. Seeing Nanan there, they begged to be saved. But then Nanan realized that they were the ones who kidnapped her. Nanan was upset that they dared to kidnap her. Without further ado, Nanan attacked them immediately, who were already helpless. After finishing of those punk, Nanan cleaned up her hands. She muttered it was a form of self-defense, so don't blame her. They all wanted the copy of the notes Master Niven gave her, so she could not let her guard down. With a hideous face, Nanan said that they all deserved to be punished. It would be a waste not to use her cultivation. On the other side where the battle took place, From Night Sing's heavenly sword appeared the figure they knew was their ancestor. Everyone from the Liu family bowed in gratitude and respect, while Master Changking and the others got a mental breakdown to learn that the ancestor of the Liu family had appeared. It was the Almighty. King Liu had no idea why the Almighty came to the immortal realm. Hadn't the immortal path been closed a long time ago? How did they summon the ancestors? The bald elder still could not believe it was something impossible. The ancestor figure asked who dared to oppress his Liu family. The pressure exerted by Liu's family ancestor made Master Changking and the others unable to even bear it. Suddenly, a hill exploded. Once the explosion was gone, the pressure also subsided. Master Changking and the other were seen not to be able to move. Master Changking asked whether it was the power of the Almighty. He did not even attack, but they had been defeated just by the pressure. The ancestor said that the immortal world had hit rock bottom. For 1,000 years, the younger generation of Liu's family did not result in a cultivator divine test cultivation. However, the Liu's ancestor did not blame their generation because the path between the mortal and immortal worlds had been cut off. He had expected the immortal would be going to fall like that. The problem was the dividing path between mortal and immortal. How could a weakling like Night Sing be able to summon him? The Liu's ancestor now turned into a human being. Night Sing immediately ran happily toward his ancestor. The ancestor questioned who Night Sing was. Night Sing still cheerfully said that he was the current head of the Liu family, Liu Xing. The ancestor said that if he rarely stopped by, could Night Sing call a mortal to talk? Feeling neglected, Night Sing was upset and cried. He emphasized that at this moment he was truly that person. He had used all of his soul and cultivation to summon the ancestor. Hearing that Night Sing sacrificed such a great thing made the ancestor yell at Night Sing. Because with the current status of the mortal world, Night Sing said that Night Sing summoned himself through cultivation. That was absolutely impossible. Once his emotions had subsided a little, the ancestor said that something had happened in the mortal realm. The Liu's ancestor asked whether Night Sing said earlier that the Liu family was in desperate situation. With tears of emotion, Night Sing said the Valley of Green Clouds, the Lin Immortal Palace, and Qianlong Dynasty had attacked the Liu family. He was currently on the edge. Night Sing irritably pointed at Master Changking and the others. Liu's ancestor then looked at them with tremendous pressure. It was just an intimidating aura, but it made them spat blood at the same time. With a trembling body, Master Changking said it was too powerful. Even though the ancestor did not come to the mortal world, it was just a light figure of the ancestor's existence. However, he was already very powerful, even though he did not come into the mortal world by himself. To the ancestors, the three of them were just like trash. Liu's ancestor asked why the three of them wanted to die so bad. Still laying down on the ground, Master Changking said that he was coming at the order of the expert. The expert Master Changking was concerned that even Liu's ancestors would not be able to offend him. Liu's ancestor was surprised hearing it. Liu's ancestor let go of what he had just heard, because he thought that not everyone in the mortal world was experienced. It is not good to be arrogant. Liu's ancestor told him to let himself gather some favor for the Liu family. He would free them all from pain. Suddenly, a huge attack came from the sky and struck Master Changking and the others. They all fell silent for a moment. The bald elder asked Master Changking to create a shield. Master Changking said that he could not. His body could no longer move. Seeing the huge attack came even closer, they said they would all be wiped out. Sure enough, the attacks of the Liu ancestors hit them directly. The attack resulted in a large crater in the ground. However, they turned out to be alive as a shining scroll created a barrier to block the attack. King Liu was surprised to see the scroll. King Liu realized it was the copybook that Master Nefan gave. He could not believe it. With emotional tears, he could not believe that the most powerful item was in his hand. He was not the most useless for not having a heavenly weapon. Master Changking asked how could the copybook block Liu's ancestor attack. King Liu excitedly said that it was the copybook that Master Nefan gave. Night Sing could not believe his eyes. While Liu's ancestor said that it was really interesting, such things appeared in the mortal world. Liu's ancestor took out his sword and slashed it at the three of them without waiting. Master Changking called out King Liu to be ready for battle. King Liu, who was confused, said that he had no idea how to use the item. King Lu burst into tears as the attack came even closer, while Master Changking and the bald elder were silent and pale. They said inwardly that it was very useless. King Lu opened the scroll and pointed it to the front. Suddenly, the light attack pierced through the attack launched by the Liu ancestor and even tore through the light figure of the Liu ancestor's existence. Slowly, the light figure of Liu's ancestor's existence disappeared from there. From the scroll appeared a red thread that slowly disappeared. Night Sing was in silence, seeing his ancestor's existence disappeared. He was panicked as his ancestor's existence lost and annihilated in an instant. Wasn't that item too fierce? He was so scared, he became nauseous and vomited. Once again, King Lu was extremely happy because the copybook from Master Niffin was very powerful. Suddenly, there was thunder and an echoing voice that said who dared to destroy the existence figure he created in the mortal world. Night Sing regained his enthusiasm. He shouted that he knew the ancestor would not be easy to defeat. King Lu and the others were already panicking and unable to say anything. The ancestor's voice said that he did not care who did it. Either he or the perpetrator would perish here, he would not give up. Suddenly, Nifen's figure was seen saying who gave him so much trouble. Instantly, the scroll began to roll up on its own. The bald elder was already frightened and asked what King Lu had done. King Lu replied in a panic that he had no idea what was going on. The scroll suddenly exploded, which frightened the three of them, and it turned into a golden sword weapon that floated before them. Once again, Master Changking and the bald elder were shocked that the scroll had turned into a heavenly sword. Night Sing was still arrogantly saying that there was no need to frighten him. No matter what they had, the Almighty still could not be defeated. Before he finished with his words, the sword instantly flashed and shattered the existence of Night Sing's spirit. The sword also pierced through the sky, shattering the moon and destroying the aliens. Master Changking, King Lu, and the bald elder in unison said how that could happen. A single sword slash could pierce through the heavens. From the sky hole, it appeared to be a beautiful pavilion. Gardens and animals were everywhere. King Lu and the others watched, guessing if it was the immortal world. They were very sure, and no doubt about it, it was the immortal world. It turned out that Night Sing had not completely disappeared because he was struck by the sword attack earlier. But now he was slowly disappearing. He mumbled, saying that how could his son offend such an existence? After Night Sing disappeared, King Lu asked if it was all over. Looking at the hole in the sky, the bald elder said that perhaps this time was the beginning, not the end. From within the hole in the sky, a ball of light appeared that wrapped around something. It was a figure whose body had been hollowed out. King Lu realized wasn't that the actual body of the Liu family ancestor, the body of the Almighty? Master Changking responded that he thought it was. Master Changking continued that the immortal realm must be the same as the demon world. They were in cube space, not in the sky, but more of a special space. King Lu agreed with that thought. He said that he had previously tried to find the immortal world by flying into the sky. At first, he did not find anything, but the higher he went, the harder it was to breathe. He could not hold it any longer, and he never found the immortal world above the sky. King Lu proudly said that was how he knew that the immortal world did not exist above the sky. Meanwhile, Master Changking and the bald elders who heard him felt less clever. Master Changking said that they had finished off the Almighty and created a hole in the sky. He had no idea what kind of existence would emerge from that hole. The body of the Liu family ancestor still continued to float down, but suddenly, from the hole emerged an enormous hand trying to grab the floating body. King Lu and the others instantly became panicked. King Lu said, "Could it be that the Liu family ancestors still hadn't perished?" Master Changking responded, if that was the case, then the current matter would continue to repeat itself and become a revenge to the end. The bald elder also said if Master Niffin were to find out, then Master Niffin would definitely be enraged. Master Changking asked King Lu if Master Niffin had given him any other treasures. But what happened to King Lu was that he buried himself out of fear. If Master Niffin blamed him, then he was better to die. Master Changking also asked the bald elder if the bald elder had any other ideas. But the bald elder also buried himself. Seeing his two idiot comrades made Master Changking have no other choice. He said that he could not let the Liu family ancestor return. Master Changking flew over to approach the hand and destroy it. But unfortunately, Just as he was about to touch the hand, Master Chanking was hit so hard that it almost killed him. He floated in the air and fell. However, at that very moment, something flew close to the enormous hand that appeared from the hole in the sky. It turned out to be Dai. Master Chanking was shocked to learn of the figure. With a look full of anger, Dai said, "It's done." The huge hand was slowly frozen by Dai's ice and was crushed, vanished. Master Chanking had no idea who she was, while King Lu, who had stepped out of his grave, was excited to see her. He and the bald elder realized that the woman was Dai. In his remaining consciousness, the Liu family ancestor had not expected there to be a goddess in the mortal realm. Slowly, the Liu family ancestor's body disappeared. King Lu said that everything that happened was based on Master Nifen's plan. The bald elder also speculated whether eliminating the Liu family was also part of Master Nifen's plan. King Lu seriously confirmed it. Dai looked down at the three people who were looking at her. Dai said they should already know Master Nifen's rules, right? They all said in unison that they knew. Dai reminded them that even if they did not really have high cultivation, they would still die one day. Prostrating themselves, the three people said that they understood. After that, Dai immediately left them. After Dai left, Master Chanking asked King Lu and the bald elder if they both knew that woman. King Lu said, "Didn't Master Chanking say he understood Dai's order but didn't know who she was?" As he got up, the bald elder said that the woman was one of Master Nifen's people. They should start with Master Nifen's rules, and the details they would discuss later. The bald elder asked them to come back and discuss the details and report to Master Nifen, as a lot of things had happened today. Back in the Valley of Green Clouds, Master Chanking was seen returning. He was greeted by one of the servants who said they had important matters to discuss. Master Chanking, who had just landed, said that they would discuss it later. He had only returned to change his clothes, and he would leave again to meet the expert. While entering the hall, he asked the whereabouts of his two children, whether Ziyu and Guzi were in the residence. But the elder tried to stop Master Chanking from entering the hall. Not yet finished with his words, the servant paused as Master Chanking directly opened and entered the hall. All that he found of the hall was that there was only an empty room and columns without any treasures. Master Chanking was completely shocked to find that all of his treasures had disappeared. He cried out over who had stolen his belongings. The servant behind him could only smile bitterly. Master Chanking continued to wander around looking for treasures that were no longer in place. From the golden bamboo brush to the autumn water shield, Letty Swan's statue was not even there. Freaking out, he once again shouted out who had stolen all his treasures. Sitting down weakly, Master Chanking said that his life was over. The servant then explained that young Master Ziyu and young Lady Guzi had taken them. They both said that they were giving it as a gift to a master with the initials Lai or Lai Nifen. Hearing that name, Master Chanking immediately got up and his demeanor changed as if nothing had happened. He turned around and said he understood. He understood why the two of them had done that. The servant was surprised that Master Chanking immediately understood just by mentioning that person's name. Guzi and Ziyu suddenly entered and said that the servants would not understand. Guzi said that her father's treasure could please Master Nifen. It would be a great opportunity for the Valley of Green Clouds. With a bitter smile, the servant confirmed if that was indeed the case. Meanwhile, Master Chanking was stressfully trying to accept it. He said that what Guzi said was true. Guzi added that if they wanted to please Master Nifen, they had to give him the best treasure. They would give Master Chanking's most precious items. Struggling to contain his displeasure, Master Chanking still confirmed it. Guzi continued, Master Nifen liked the refreshment crystal ball. She had already given it to Master Nifen. Hearing that his most precious treasure was given away, Master Chanking was shocked to death and spit out a mouthful of blood, but still he praised Guzi for doing a good job. Ziyu tried to sympathize with his father by telling him not to worry. He understood his father's sacrifice and his pain. In desperation, Ziyu added that Master Nifen also accepted his pet koi and birds as food. Master Chanking looked at Ziyu with a strange look, saying that the pets were worth nothing compared to all his treasures. But Ziyu did not mind. Ziyu remained silent and then burst into tears. Moving on to Nifen and Dai's lodge. Nifen and Dai were seen playing chess earnestly. They took turns running the chess pieces. But on Nifen's last move, Dai was surprised. Dai was a little sad to say that she had lost again. But Nifin praised Day by saying that Day played very well. Day's chess skills had improved a lot. He was happy for Day. Day gently said that it was all thanks to Master Nifin's help. As they were chatting, there was a knock on the door that made them both turn their heads in the direction it came from. It was Master Chanking, the Bald Elder, and King Luo. Nifin was astonished that they were there. Nifin was then surprised to see Master Chanking, who was the leader of the Valley of Green Clouds. He called Master Chanking the boss of the Valley of Green Clouds. Master Chanking shyly greeted Nifin by saying that he was nothing. He welcomed Nifin sincerely. It was rare to have Master Nifin as a guest. He and the others had done their best. Master Chanking whispered, telling Nifin not to worry. They had already completed their task. With a look of distress on his face, Nifin certainly had no idea what Master Chanking was trying to say. Nifin was confused that Master Chanking was telling him that. Wordlessly, Nifin said that Master Chanking encountered important problems every day. He just hoped everything went smoothly, he had no problem. However, Nifin said that because he did not understand what was really going on. But Master Chanking, King Lu, and the Bald Elder were immediately happy because they thought Nifin looked satisfied with the completion of the mission they received. As he poured tea, Master Chanking said that Master Nifin wrote marvelous poetry and cooked well. He had waited a long time to meet Master Nifin. The Bald Elder and King Lu, who were looking at Master Chanking from behind, seemed to be a little annoyed, as Master Chanking immediately asked for a favor from Master Nifin. They cussed out Master Chanking for being shameless. Nifin thanked him for the tea. He said Master Chanking looked energetic during the demon locking ceremony. He did not know that Master Chanking was such a friendly person. Pulling out his storage in his arms, Master Chanking said it was an honor to be praised by Master Nifin. He apparently took out a crystal ball and handed it to Nifin. He said he had prepared a small gift for Master Nifin. Nifin, who received it, took a slow look. Master Chanking explained that it was a space ball. Master Nifin could store any item in it. Nifin felt bad in his heart. He had received a compressor, and now he was given another treasure. How could he accept that? The compressor in question here was a crystal ball that produced soda water. Nifin tried to return it to Master Chanking. He felt that he could not accept many gifts from Master Chanking. Master Chanking's hand stopped Nifin from returning it. Looking glum, Master Chanking asked Nifin to accept it. He thought if Master Nifin was too reluctant to accept the gift, why did Master Nifin not give a painting instead? Master Chanking said that while smiling cheerfully. Hearing Master Chanking's words, King Lu and the Bald Elder were shocked to death. They felt that Master Chanking was too bold to ask Master Nifin for a gift directly. They did not know that Master Chanking was eager to die. Master Chanking thought it was asking for something precious in a dangerous situation. Still not feeling entirely free, Master Chanking felt that he had done something to impress Master Nifin by giving away his goods and treasures. With tears in his eyes as he endured all the pain, Master Chanking muttered that he had nothing at home. He had to try, otherwise he would not be able to continue living. King Lu was curious about Nifin's reaction, turned his head, not knowing what Nifin would do. Against such a bold person as Master Chanking, would Master Nifin respond? Nifin looked down without words, while Master Chanking already was covered in cold sweat on his face. He was afraid of being executed. But instantly Nifin said that he wondered if he could do it to give Master Chanking a painting. Seeing Nifin's reaction of not even getting angry made the Bald Elder and King Lu shocked. Meanwhile, Master Chanking was filled with a happy smile. Nifin began to pick up the paper. He felt that it was an honor for him. Master Chanking was extraordinary. Master Chanking was his inspirational figure. Nifin recalled the 3 paintings in the Palace Hall of the Valley of Green Clouds of immortals, demons, and monsters. Nifin then got the idea to paint an almighty. Immediately, Nifin swept his brush enthusiastically. Somehow, the brushstrokes brought forth a super dense sky that surrounded the 3 of them, now bringing the 3 of them into a different world. The 3 of them were in a barren mountain place with only dry trees, mountains, and land that was unimaginably hot. They were shocked to say they had no idea where they were. Master Chanking lifted his foot and found that the sole of his shoe had been burnt. They realized the place seemed like everything there had been burned to the ground. Was it perhaps the ancient times? There was a huge sun above their heads. Not only were they shocked by the hot place, from the direction of the sun appeared a bird that had 3 legs pointing at the 3 of them. Master Changking realized that it was a heavenly bird. The fire that the bird caused instantly burned their clothes. Back to the real world. It turned out that Nefin had drawn a sketch of a three-legged bird that was flying casually. Nefin, who had finished, said he did not draw it properly because he did not have much time. He hoped Master Changking would not mind. Nefin was surprised to see the three of them seemed to be evaporating in the heat. What exactly happened to the three of them? Master Changking immediately regained consciousness and asked what drawing Nefin had made. Nefin explained that it was a three-legged golden raven. It was the child of Eastern Emperor Kaksaihi, a heavenly bird. Once again, the three of them were shocked to learn of the Eastern Emperor and that it was a heavenly bird. Nefin confirmed it. Eastern Emperor Kaksaihi actually gave birth to 10 of them. Once again, they were even more surprised. Nefin explained that the 10 children were sons. Because they were all born on the same day, people began to perish in the heat. Someone named Huyi shot 9 sons and left only 1 son. Nefin said that it was a story from his hometown about the sun. The three of them were shocked and said it was an ancient story. They thought it must have been witnessed by Master Nefin himself. No one had ever told them the story of the sun dropping. They felt it was an overstatement, but on the other hand, it felt so real that they just believed it. Master Changking was also curious as to why Master Nefin had drawn the heavenly bird for him. Nefin rolled up the painting, telling him that it was like the saying, "Be content with whatever you have when you are poor and share it with others when you are rich." The painting of the heavenly bird, he was sure, would suit Master Changking very well. Master Changking was confused by the proverb Nefin had said earlier. Master Changking misinterpreted, leading to misunderstandings. He muttered to himself that Master Nefin's speech sounded ordinary and straightforward, but it conveyed a great truth. According to Master Changking, Master Nefin was encouraging him to progress and develop. Master Chanking's expression was filled with confidence, but then he looked down feeling an inner pressure. He was still muttering about the saying, "Be content with whatever you have when you are poor." Master Changking thought that Nefin had advised him to do his duty properly, not to be too ambitious, otherwise he would be humiliated. The next words, "Share with others when you are rich," Master Changking interpreted as Nefin trying to tell him to work well before thinking of others, and he came to the conclusion that Nefin was mocking him if he did not do his best at the demon locking ceremony. There was no hope of receiving a gift from Master Nefin. He thought the golden raven Master Nefin had drawn meant that Nefin would shoot him like Huyi shot the 9 sons. And also, with great uneasiness, he wondered if he was the last son in the story Master Nefin told. Interpreting everything which Nefin said made Master Changking faint instantly. He had overthought things unnecessarily. Nefin was surprised that Master Changking had suddenly collapsed. After a while, Master Changking regained consciousness. He shouted apologies for his rudeness to Master Nefin. In his room, he was accompanied by his 2 children. With sadness, Master Changking told them both that he had made a mistake. Guzi naturally asked what his father had done wrong. Struggling to get up from his bed, Master Changking said that his ability to lock up demons had weakened and caused a disaster. In tears of emotion, he continued he could not do his job properly, but instead asked Master Nefin for a reward. He had made Master Nefin angry. He cried out in tears. The Valley of Green Clouds had come to an end. Ziyu pointed at something on the wall, saying, was that what his father meant? It turned out to be a painting of a heavenly bird on the wall. Ziyu relayed a message from Nefin that the painting was meant for Master Changking. Guzi added that Master Nefin was grateful to the Valley of Green Clouds for welcoming him so that he could have a good time. While still in tears, Master Changking asked where Master Nefin was now. Guzi said that Master Nefin had returned because he wanted to feed his pets. Master Nefin also invited them to visit if they had some free time. Moving on to Nefin's residence in the middle of the forest, the 7-tailed was seen using the treadmill with heavy breathing. She said she could no longer do it. With a determined look, Shou Bai, who had turned into an adult, said that the 7-tailed had improved. He thought he would increase the speed. With barely half a life left, 7-tailed complained that she could not do it anymore. But Shou Bai did not want to hear the 7-tailed's excuses. As he pressed the button to increase the speed, 7-tailed was immediately tossed down and crashed into something. Shou Bai, who felt no guilt, raised his hand to say that he had increased his speed too much. The courtyard of Nefin's house appeared to be peaceful with the creatures lounging around. Meanwhile, the pig was being grilled by the dragon with its fire. Bearing the warmth of his body on the grill, the pig asked the dragon, whom he called boss, if his cultivation had increased. The dragon said that it had increased, but only slightly. The pig complained that his back felt hot. Blackie, who smelled the aroma of the roasted pig, said that if the back was almost burnt, the dragon should turn it over and burn the front side. The dragon followed Blackie's advice and turned the pig face down. Xiaobai told the dragon to turn down the fire. Drooling, Blackie said to add some cumin or spices. Blackie was also curious about the snake's delicious drink, so they should check it out. As Blackie was about to leave, the seven-tailed called out to him because she had a question. With a cute face, the seven-tailed asked if Blackie could teach her some spells if he had some free time. Blackie paused for a moment and looked at the seven-tailed. Silently, Blackie said that seven-tailed had become eight-tailed. With coolness, Blackie said of course, and it would be fine if he taught the spell. He would teach Blackie paws of heaven. In the middle of the romance, a voice warned that Master Niffin had arrived. All the monsters fell silent. Blackie looked at the seven-tailed as he threw the seven-tailed out of the house. Meanwhile, the others quickly cleaned up and returned to their respective places. Niffin had arrived and opened the door together with Day. Niffin said that home was indeed the most comfortable place. Blackie, who saw that his master had returned, immediately ran to Niffin like an innocent pet. Niffin felt that the atmosphere of the yard felt like before he left. Blackie licked his master's feet as if he were a pet. Niffin asked if Blackie had been good while at home. If so, then Blackie had been a good boy. It seemed that the seven-tailed and her friends had just been knocked down by Blackie. After a quick break, Niffin arranged the items of treasure from the Valley of the Green Clouds on his shelf. And the last gift given by the Valley of Green Clouds was a purple statue. Looking at the statue, Niffin frowned because it was so ugly. But he ignored it because it was a gift from Master Chanking, which must be a very precious treasure. After finishing up with his stuff, Niffin left to eat. As Niffin left, the one-eyed statue emitted a dark aura around it. Time passed. The next day, Niffin and Day were doing morning exercises as part of their routine. But suddenly, Day stopped and looked at the grass in front of the house. Seeing Day distracted, Niffin was certainly curious about what Day was seeing. Day asked if Niffin heard anything. They both then looked at the house and the bushes. Niffin, who was a little tense because he was a little scared, tried to approach the bushes. Just as he was about to reach out and open the bushes, Blackie suddenly jumped up and startled Niffin, feeling like his life was slipping out of his body for a split second. Furious, Niffin punched Blackie mercilessly. What was Blackie doing sneaking around in there? And Niffin was even more upset to find his poop. Dragging Blackie, Niffin cursed in annoyance, had me always told Blackie to use the toilet. From inside Niffin's house at the window, the statue that Niffin had been displaying had moved to the window and was looking at Niffin and Day. Suddenly, Niffin was behind the statue and grabbed it. Niffin just felt odd. Hadn't he just placed it on the display shelf? How could it be there? But Niffin did not suspect anything. He put it back. But suddenly Niffin paused because there was a voice that persuaded Niffin whether Niffin wanted to be strong and invincible. Niffin was just confused, not understanding what he actually heard. The statue's aura continued to tempt Niffin to take the bait. Niffin then thought of something. He felt familiar with such an aura. But immediately Niffin just forgot about it. He did not remember it. It was better that he immediately went for breakfast. Learning that even her persuasion had no effect made the demon's aura surprised. Of course, the demon wondered how Niffin could not be attracted by her temptation. The demon aura immediately showed her true form, a beautiful woman with horns. The demoness said that she, Yucha, had lived for thousands of years but had never met a salted fish like Niffin for a long time. The truth was, she wanted to use Niffin's body to figure out who destroyed her existence in the mortal world. Now she only had demonic Kai in the statue. But Yucha convinced herself that it was not a problem. Once this night had passed, she could come to the mortal world in human form. By then, humans would be completely destroyed. Yucha laughed proudly at herself because she and the demon would take over this world. Suddenly, Day touched the statue where Yucha resided. Yucha saw the opportunity. Of course, she did not miss it. She thought that Day would be attracted by her temptation. Yucha approached and touched Dai and offered Day various offers. But unfortunately, Day was stronger than Yu-cha and immediately slapped Yu-cha. Of course, Day's slap made Yu-cha upset and angry. How dare Day slap her? However, Yu-cha stopped her cursing and looked at Day, who was overflowing with strength, because she realized all the offers she had made to Day. Day had owned it. Day warned Yu-cha not to interfere with Master Nifen's mortal life. If she dared, then she would beat Yu-cha to pieces. Hearing Day's warning made Yu-cha startled mentally. Suddenly, Day heard Nifen's voice calling her to leave immediately. Yu-cha was shocked after Day's leaving, not knowing who that woman was. But she tried to forget her. She would not be able to tempt Day. She could not attract Nifen either. Yu-cha looked out the window and found Blackie there. With a sly smile, she confidently tempted Blackie. She gave off an aura of intimidation. Like always, Yu-cha tempted and offered various things, and she would give them to Blackie. However, Blackie just stared at Yu-cha in silence. Once again, Yu-cha offered other interesting things with her malicious expression. But what Blackie did was to urinate in front of Yu-cha and mock all of Yu-cha's offers to him. Obviously, Yu-cha was furious. Feeling insulted, Yu-cha was even more upset. She was in a bad mood, so she let her anger out on Blackie. Yu-cha was ready with the power in her hands, but suddenly all that happened was that Yu-cha's head had been knocked to the ground because of Blackie. Blackie kept stepping on Yu-cha so that Yu-cha could not even get up. She burst into tears, feeling like she had failed her apprenticeship and had to die in this filthy courtyard. Yu-cha then spotted the fallen demon's sword, which made her ecstatic. With a squirm, she attempted to grab the fallen demon's sword and summoned it in order to make it coming to her. Yu-cha was still confident because there was still another way. She could not believe that the fallen demon's sword was there. Struggling, Yu-cha told the fallen demon's sword that there was an unusual dog here, and that it was on top of her. They should team up to beat him up. But what Yu-cha found was not the evil sword demon, but the sword Buddha, a repentant demon. With a typical Buddhist hand position, Buddha Skull said that since Yu-cha and himself came from the same place, he would help Yu-cha to apologize to Lord Blackie and join the Buddhist sect. Yu-cha could not believe what the Buddha Skull said. The Buddha Skull looked around and said that he knew Yu-cha had a lot of questions. Yu-cha should look at his current surroundings so Yu-cha would understand. Yu-cha followed what the Buddha Skull said, which turned out that there were ancient artifacts and even mythological creatures around her. They had made Yu-cha mentally struck. She shouted out what place she was currently in. Moving on to Nifen, who was currently in the city at a food stall to be precise. Nifen ordered steamed buns to eat together with Day. Nifen, who looked around, seemed to realize something was unusual. He asked the seller why everyone seemed to be in such a hurry today. The baker said that it was understandable that Nifen did not know, because Nifen had been out of town for a few days. The seller of the bread said that a few days ago, a bolt of lightning struck the old pagoda tree at the east gate. Nifen was surprised to hear this. The seller continued regretfully that the pagoda tree had lived with them for thousands of years. Who knew that lightning would strike and split the tree into two? However, no one was hurt. Everyone said that the old pagoda tree had a soul inside. Nifen sighed. He also felt sorry for it. Not long after he finished eating the bread, Nifen went to see the pagoda tree that was struck by lightning together with Day. A huge tree had split into two parts in front of Nifen. Day was curious to see Nifen silently looking at the tree. Did Nifen feel sad because of the old tree? Nifen said that he was surprised when he first saw the tree. He never thought that something like this would happen. Nifen touched the tree and wished that if there was a soul inside the tree, he hoped it would break through and reincarnate. Nifen and Day then left the place. After Nifen, who had prayed for the tree to reincarnate, left, there suddenly appeared a little sprout from the center of the split tree. Moving on to the immortal Lin Palace. Many people had gathered there, including Qin. They were waiting for Master Lin to come out of seclusion. Suddenly, the figure of Master Lin appeared in the hands of a Buddhist statue, but with a pale face full of distress, as if he had no will to live. Kim was immediately shocked to see the face of her master. Master Lin begged Qin to stop talking. He was afraid he had not much time left. Hearing that made everyone shocked. What was Master Lin trying to say?